What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you are having an amazing Tuesday. So, Carlos King, he is in his interview bag and he is interviewing all of the different reality stars. And so, this one has been really enlightening. He interviewed Royce Reed, who was on Basketball Wives. And she begins by, letting us know that she had a really strict upbringing. Her parents were together for a very long time. I think they were married for 50 years, she said. But she said that she also wasn't allowed to date until she was, older. However, they did put her into, dance. Of course, we know her as a dancer. That's how we were introduced to her on Basketball Wives. She was in cheerleading and modeling. So, she had a very vivacious and bubbly personality. But the thing that was interesting to me was early on in this interview, she talked about how she was the one who initially, shopped the show Basketball Wives. Like it wasn't Shaunie. Shaunie wasn't even at the pitch meetings. And so Carlos is like, wow, why didn't you ask for a producer credit? And Royce is like, back then I didn't even know to ask for one. And I thought, wow, you know what I mean? Like, how many times have people been, had their ideas stolen, or because that's what essentially she says happened, right? And Carlos is getting her to open up about what happened, and they can laugh about it now, but you can hear like the sadness in her voice. And so she essentially says, that season one, she was cast on the show with, Evelyn and Shaunie and all the rest of the girls. But the fact that Shaunie O'Neal wasn't even in the pitch meetings, I was just like, wow. But she said, she not only pitched the show and shot the show, but she helped develop the show. And she said that a crucial scene um, was, of course, when they were trying to get her to dance, right? Because she is a dancer. She was a professional dancer at the time in Miami. And she said, when she first came on the show, she really confided in Shaunie. And, she thought that she was her friend. And that's what Carlos, he interjects and he's like, yeah, every single person from Basketball Wives has pretty much said the same thing, where they initially, thought that Shaunie O'Neal was their friend and had their best interest at heart, and then come to find out that they were being backstabbed. And Royce, she said that was her exact experience with Shaunie, specifically after she confided in the fact that her husband at the time, Shaquille O'Neal, was being really flirtatious with her, allegedly, right? All this is alleged. It's from Royce's point of view, though, and I appreciate her openness and her transparency. But she said that he was text messaging her, and this man cussed her out when she didn't return his advances. So Royce, trying to be the good friend that she said that she was to Shaunie, she shows Shaunie the text messages. Now, just a little side note, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where, as a woman, you've had a friend and her man or significant other or whatever just came at you a little bit wrong out of pocket. That was the whole storyline last season on Potomac. Um, but I've had this happen in college, and she was a very good friend. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us now. But at the time, she was dating a young man in a well-known fraternity on campus, and he was a little bit older than the traditional student, but they were together for a few years, and he was just out of line with me. I don't know why he thought that he could, cross that line. He didn't necessarily do anything, but he did, proposition me. Um, and it was, again, just a habitual line stepper. So I had to put him in his place, let him know that, I don't get down like that. That was my friend. That's grimy. And then I went back and told her that she needs to check her man not to try to, talk to me like that because I'm not that chick. What did she do, y'all? She got upset with me, not him, right? And that's exactly what happens here. And I think that is because, like I said, this happened in college where he was trying to, get me to sleep with him and I wouldn't. Um, but again, she killed texting Royce and she shows Shaunie the text messages. So Shaunie begins to, tell all of, Royce's business to the other women on the cast. And she said that it took her a while to put those pieces together. Again, they were younger. This was years ago. But it's really sad, right? I can just, see that pattern that so often when men step out of line or when they disrespect the woman that they're with by trying to go after one of her girlfriends, that woman will turn on the girlfriend rather than the guy because it's your man that needs to be checked. But anyway, Roy said, she found out about that it was, Shaunie feeding the girls information, trying to make her look bad. Going back to that dance scene, right? So it was a dance contest and they were pressuring her to do it because the producers were saying, they didn't have anything, the show was boring, so on and so forth. So she gets up, she's a professional dancer. She was dancing and, twerking and doing all of the things. She wins the contest, right? And she said that the ladies flipped on her. They were calling her a bum. They were saying that, it's not a good look for her to be with them. But Roy said, that she was really hurt by that, right? Like she was really hurt with Shaunie's betrayal. She said everything that she told Shaunie, she said one day she would tell Shaunie something, and then the next day, Evelyn Lozada would confront her about the exact same information that she told Shaunie. So Shaunie was going back and feeding the girls, things about just to assassinate her character, right? And then after the dance contest, she won the dance contest. She said that the whole group as a whole just turned on her. She also talked about the fight that she was in. She said that, she's from the hood. She grew up in the hood. She said, I know how to fight. And Carlos, he interjects about his time in Detroit. But, Royce is, she's small but mighty. So she said that she knew how to handle herself and, she went straight for the head. And he's like, well, did any of that glass get on you? And she's like, no, I was okay. She also talks about, the situation with Dwight Howard, right? So basically, it was supposed to be a situation where they were talking things over. They were having issues in their relationships, problems in their relationships. And he invites her to come over to talk. And, one thing led to another. That talk led into them becoming, more serious. And she ended up getting pregnant. And she said that she had thought about, having the procedure to do away with the pregnancy, but she said she didn't. She said one thing that she learned soon after was she was told that she couldn't put Dwight Howard's name on anything, right? Like not on any of the invitations, not on the birth certificate, not on like anything, which is heartbreaking, right? Even if he wasn't a celebrity, that's still the father, and that's still, the father of your child. So she said that, and then Carlos asked her why she left the show. And she said that she really wanted to, pursue acting more seriously. She was tired of being a puppet. She was tired of being this, caricature that was not respected by Shaunie and Evelyn and the rest of the girls on the cast. She said that, she really hasn't talked to anybody with the exception of a few. And then, talking about like Tammy, she says she's still close with Tammy. She was the only person that would call Tammy out when Tammy was in the wrong. And although Tammy Roman didn't like that, Tammy, respected the fact that Royce would stand up for herself, that she got her together. And, I can see that in Tammy, right? She's somebody who listens, as opposed to Evelyn, who is just, she's problematic. She's never been one of my favorites on any show that she's been on. Or yeah, she's hugely problematic. She reminds me a lot of Erica Mena. But I do respect Royce, like I said, for sitting down with Carlos and speaking her truth. She wanted to pursue acting more seriously. So I'm hoping that this interview helps her continue on in that journey, and that she has some healing, from her time on Basketball Wives. Because she said initially, when she and Shaunie first talked about the show, she said she said that Shaunie told her it was supposed to be about their career and professionalism. And she's like, I was hoodwinked, I was bamboozled. And I'm glad that she could laugh about it now. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I enjoyed this interview. I do like that, Carlos is sitting down with, the former reality stars and allowing them to tell their story, because we haven't heard a lot from Royce at all. She said that actually she was surprised that Carlos said that people wanted to hear from her. She said because she was so, low key, and she doesn't have as many followers on social media as some of her other former, co-stars or castmates. She said that she was surprised, but yeah, girl, we want to hear from you. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. And I will bring you part 2 next week. Talk with you later. Have a good night, Aces. Bye.